Hello everybody, it's Cap Corgi. I wanted to talk about a game that, whose music you're hearing in the background. A game that I really love. I love MMOs. I play a lot of them on this channel, and I've covered a lot of MMO news. And this is a game I've covered several times on this channel. Ashes of Creation. One of the, big hopes for the MMO world. And, it is about to come out to Steam. And I want to talk about why I think that this might be a very, very huge gamble on developer Intrepid's part. So let's dive into it. First of all, my history as a creator for Ashes of Creation. I'm, not sponsored or anything like that. Literally just a guy who loves MMOs and has covered this game since about 2 years ago. These videos are from about a year ago, year plus, almost 2 years ago, but way before I was doing YouTube. I was also just covering this on my stream, and I've been streaming for a lot longer. So I played a lot of Ashes, played hundreds and hundreds of hours of Ashes of Creation, bought one of the original Alpha 2 keys, so that is the big chunker of a price. I think it was, what, like $200, $250 something. Even covered, their controversies and everything. Extremely fair, but also, their high points. The mage, when we first saw it. The melee fighter, when we first saw it, and so on and so forth. Everything in between. The ship, the single server stuff, everything in between. So, it is now coming to Steam. I think that I'm worried, guys. I'm just worried. I'm worried as someone who loves this game, who's played hundreds of hours of this game, who really believes that this game is one of the brightest spots in MMO development for any Western MMO, I would say, for sure. I don't really know Eastern MMOs that well, except for where Winds meets, so I can't really speak on Eastern MMOs, which is why I'm making that distinction. But generally, very positive on this game. I really do like that. So please understand that when I'm talking about my issues with Ashes, and when I'm talking about what I'm worried about, it is coming from a place of love. It is coming from a place of wanting to see this game, this developer, truly succeed. Basically, I don't think this game is ready for an early access release. Now, they are being very clear. They're trying to be very clear, like a lot of early access games are, that we're releasing this in early access. This game is not ready, so you're going to be an alpha tester. Please know that going in, and so on. They are saying the right things with that. No doubt about it. Like, they're not trying to obfuscate this. They're not trying to, like, pretend the game is in a more finished state that it is in. We do have a lot of content in the Riverlands. You can see that right here. The desert is pretty populated. There's many different zones. There's many different really good systems in the game. The combat, the healing, very snappy, very responsive, very action-packed. The classes are interesting. The rogue, the fighter, I hate the name the tank, but actually playing the tank is really good. So on and so forth. I played every single class in this game. But that is kind of where it ends. The development for this game has been going at a good clip, in my opinion. I've been playing the alpha for the past year, and I really am happy with the progress from the beginning of Alpha 2 all the way to present day. I'm not really, haranguing Ashes of Creation for that. What I am worried about is the fact that they are going to be releasing to Steam. What does that mean? They're releasing to Steam, and they're going to be lowering the amount of money that you need to get into the game. That part I'm totally fine with, for lowering the money. Lowering, I think the cost is now $40 to get a key for the early access. And that's great. We need more testers. Ashes of Creation and Intrepid need more revenue. Because making an MMO is expensive. And, Intrepid is not, making this up. They're not lying or anything like that. It is expensive. It is hard to do. It is not an easy gig, which is why we've seen so many companies making MMOs fail. In just this past year 2025, we've seen 4 major MMOs either get completely delisted, and like, they just died, or they are, the development for them has stopped. Ghost Crawler, his project Ghost, is dead. Is dead in the water. New World has been nuked by Amazon Games. The Lord of the Rings MMO, which had years of development into it, has been killed a second time. And, now we're saying, by the way, the trailer for Ashes of Creation's Steam release. And it's a decent trailer, but I think it does highlight the issues. So I'm actually very happy about, the level of detail in the world and everything like that. However, this trailer is promising some kind of very interesting overarching story. And this is where the problems begin for Ashes. And this is something to keep in mind. Context. Perspective. This is not a game that is ready for every single person to play at $40. This is a game pretty much only ready for you and me and other people that have been covering this game or, following this game for years. Because we believe in the game. We're willing to take its cracks and its rough edges and the fact that there's, a lot of systems still missing. While a lot of the systems are good, while the combat is really good and very smooth, there's a lot of other systems in the game that are just not finished yet and not even remotely set yet. Like, crafting is an absolute joke. It's an absolute joke, especially at low levels. Low levels in general are an absolute joke. Questing is an absolute joke. I think it's crafting and questing. Those were the 2 main pillars. Crafting and questing both are in like very, very, very early stages. And, if we're talking about a situation, and they were just showing the character creation is an absolute joke. These are things that will absolutely really, really affect a normal Steam player base. Just the every gamer Andy. Someone who's been playing, ESO or Where Winds Meets or any of these other MMOs that are available on Steam in a very, very finished state. They'll be getting their first impressions of Ashes of Creation as soon as December 11th or the 10th, I can't remember which, happens, where it releases on Steam. And they'll be seeing a game where, you can play Where Winds Meets completely for free and have like a completely finished storyline, a completely finished crafting system, a completely finished, expansive, huge world with like way so many random quests and, points of interest and so on and so forth, all over the place. And what does Ashes have? Ashes has an extremely rudimentary, very, very small few sets of quest lines at the beginning of the game, starting from level 1 going through like level 10-ish, and that's pretty much it. And then we have, a rudimentary crafting system which is completely unbalanced and completely not ready for human consumption. Really, like, there's glaring issues, if you spawn in this area, which is the northern area. There's 2 spawning areas. There's the Riverlands, and then there's the Dwarven area, the Dwarven Forge area, which is really cool and has like a lot of really interesting things visually and some cool quests and stuff. But the items that you can make there, you can't even make like a normal mining pickaxe or like a normal lumber axe or anything like that, because the tree, in order to use the wood to make that pickaxe or the axe or whatever, to make one of those things, one of the farming materials, you can't get it in the north. The oak just doesn't spawn up there at all. It's a glaring issue, and you're looking at this like, how the hell did Intrepid, not figure this out? On one level, you're like that, but then you're like, okay, it's an alpha, this is just a little jank, blah, 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 that's fine. And, I'm fine with that. I just don't do crafting on that character, which is a huge glaring issue, by the way. But That is not something that a random person playing this for the first time on Steam, when they have finished MMOs to play, even in early access and stuff, they're coming to this game and they're just like, this makes no sense. And then they refund the game. And then they'll never touch the game again. That is the future I'm worried about with Ashes of Creation. I'm worried that hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of players will be getting into the game because great creators are covering this game. There's a lot of content for this game, and this game has an excellent action-oriented, playing style, which a lot of gamers are looking for. They're looking for things like, a more open PvP system. They're looking for things like a beautiful Unreal 5 world. They're looking for something that will give you, that fantasy of being a pirate. That fantasy of, going into the desert and seeing, these giant, beautiful Unreal 5 castles, which actually work. And they're actually, interesting visually, and you can do things. There's enemies and stuff. And a really, really good combat system. These are a lot of skills. The leveling up system is pretty good as well. There are very good aspects to this game. But there's a lot of just glaring issues as well. And so they're going to be seeing a tale of two games. The tale of the visual, interesting level design. The absolute gorgeous areas in the game. You're going to be seeing, an entire, system where you can fall through the world at the very, very beginning of the tutorial in several different areas. Right here, you're going to see this, and it's going to be all over the place. It just happens constantly in this otherwise very, very beautiful world. I couldn't get up. I had to go all the way down, waste 10 minutes swimming around, trying to make my way back up because, they don't have the walls demarked correctly or anything like that. You can't even climb. You can't even grab onto ledges like you can. You can't even jump off here, whereas you can in other places. There's just a lot of jank that would turn any normal early access player off completely. Someone who is not, very, experienced with alpha gaming. And true alpha, I am. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with wasting my time with this. I'm okay with spending the time and, just jumping on invisible walls for 10 minutes straight. But most gamers aren't. This would be a situation where, I had to kill my character. And you can see my level of frustration over here. Let me make this a little bit smaller so I can show you. I had to literally kill my character in order to respawn it in the world. And you can see me just get I'm like, oh my god, what is this, right? What is this? And I'm okay with that, right? But most people are not. Most people are going to hit a situation like this and refund the game if it's below 2 hours, and then uninstall the game, never play it again, and tell all of their friends to never play it again. That is what's going to happen with most people. They're going to see a very empty world in terms of quest design. Extremely, extremely empty with quest design, with very, very, boring style MMO questing, which is something that happens on a lot of MMOs, and that's fine. But the big draw of Ashes of Creation was the story system. Was the system where you can actually have these really large game world-changing overarching storylines. And that is literally the thing that drew me into the game. And I'm waiting for that. Everyone's waiting for that. And that is fine. But that is what people are willing to wait for when they're an Alpha 2 tester, when they're paying $100 into the game. If they're, getting this game on Steam and dumping a whole bunch of hours in the game, it's a completely different story. Like I said, I hate to make this comparison, but it is an apt comparison. We have a game that is literally out on Steam right now called Where Winds Meets. And this game is also gorgeous. It is also extremely, extremely beautiful. It is also, in a very, very finished state graphically, which Ashes shares. Like, this is a very finished game in terms of graphics. Like, the visual style is very finished in Ashes. It is very finished in Where Winds Meets. And, the action combat is extremely, extremely smooth as well. These are things that both games share. However, Where Winds Meets is in a completely different state when it comes to actually playing the game. It is in a completely different state when it comes to how complete the game is for its combat, for its quest design, for its social aspects. It's so hard to even, like, add friends on a friends list in Ashes of Creation. There's multiple steps to whisper to people and so on and so forth. Where in Winds Meets, you can beg. Like, you even have beg emotes. You can do all kinds of wacky things. You can throw tomatoes at someone who is, like, stolen from NPCs and so on and so forth. It's kind of insane the number of things you can do in Where Winds Meets. And again, this game is free. And the reason I'm making this comparison is because every single person who plays Ashes of Creation, when they're first starting Ashes of Creation on the Steam release, will also be comparing it to the other MMOs they can play, including, in this case, Where Winds Meets. I'm not making this comparison because I'm trying to shit on Ashes. I'm making this comparison because everyone will be making this comparison. All of these, like, really interesting things you can do in the world and Where Winds Meets, Ashes of Creation promises some things even more. The fact that you have reactivity in the world with quest design and so on and so forth. But none of that is ready. None of that is implemented. And Steven Sharif and Intrepid have been talking about this for several years, and that's great. I'm extremely excited for it. I'm willing to wait. Most players are not. And that is why I am worried about Ashes of Creation. I don't think that the Steam world will be ready for it. We just had a game called Hightail, and very famous, a very famous, Minecraft clone, which went through its death and resurrection and all kinds of stuff. It was a very interesting, thing where they're finally resurrected and they're willing and they're able to make some new inroads into actually making the game, which is wonderful news. But even they decided when they release early access, come about, like, I think it is 1 month from now. It's going to be January 15th. I've covered that on my YouTube, so if you guys want to see that, definitely check it out. But even those developers, very passionate, and there's, it's a playable early access and playable alpha and everything like that, they know their game is not ready. They know there is no way they can release it on Steam, and they're going to release it only on their own launcher. And because they know that if they release it on Steam, even in early access, in its unfinished state, people will bounce off the game, and they'll never even look at it again. And it will start from a very, very far step behind in terms of its momentum. There are games that release in a very substandard state, and then there's a lot of work done on them, and then they actually end up getting much, much better, to the point that they can, survive and even thrive later on. We've seen that with No Man's Sky. Hell, we've seen that with MMOs, with, certain games like ESO itself. ESO did not launch in the best of states, and, after a few patches, it became really, really much better. There are games like that. However, Ashes of Creation, and I played those games. I played those games in their early access, complete, like, messed up states. And I played all those games. Ashes of Creation is in a worse state for early access than any of those games. And I will absolutely stand behind that statement. And this is me saying this as someone who loves playing Ashes of Creation. I play it at least like once a week even now. When it does release in early access and the wipe happens and so on, I'll be playing it an absolute boatload. I'll be enjoying it for sure. But I'm someone who is like the target audience of this game. I'm someone who has a vested interest in the health of this game because I've been following it for so many years, and I believe in the vision that, the game developers have for this game. Most players who will be joining Alpha or I guess, I don't know if even it's going to be considered alpha anymore, or just beta now, or alpha phase 3. I don't even know what the nomenclature is for the game at this point, for whatever is happening on December 10th with the Steam release. But whatever it is, they are not going to be in that situation that I'm in. They're not going to be the ones that are going to give it that same amount of time, that same chance, that same, like, you know, really, really, like, you know, hefty amount of patience that this game needs in order for you to enjoy it. And again, this is not a knock on the game. This is not a knock on the developers. I'm saying this as someone who loves this game and who wants to see it succeed. I just don't think it's going to be ready enough for people who don't really know Ashes of Creation, who don't follow the game, who don't follow, you know, every single developer interview and so on and so forth, like I do. And as a result of that lack of, feeling on the game before getting onto the game, they will just bounce off of it because they'll just be trying a new MMO. This is just going to be new MMO number 10 for most of the player base joining the game. All of the hardcore, like, players who really wanted to play this game, who, you know, have been waiting for months to play Ashes of Creation, who've been, you know, watching the developer interviews, have been watching Intrepid, who've been watching my streams and other people's streams for months and months and months at a time. All of those people have already started to play Ashes of Creation. There will be some who couldn't afford the $120 exorbitant fee, which it was a very high price. I was willing to pay it, but most people are not. And totally fair, by the way. There's a lot of people who could not pay that price, and they'll be joining as well. And those people might be okay with the level of incompleteness this game has. But that will only be probably like 1/10 of the player base that will be joining Ashes of Creation. I feel like 9/10 of the players playing Ashes of Creation will be, this will just be another game on the roster. Oh, Ashes came out. I've been hearing about this MMO from Asmongold. I've been hearing about it from XQC, from not XQC. XQC doesn't fucking know about this game. SFan, from Soda Pop-Ins and other major MMO players in the streamer space and so on and so forth. And they'll be like, all right, let's give it a try. $40 is not too bad. And they'll be trying out the game for the first time, and they'll be like, wait a second. The questing in this game is worse than New World. Wait a second. None of the, storyline arcs are actually completed. There's no actual reactivity in the world yet. Wait a second. Half the crafting is broken. Wait a second. No gear drops from any enemies. Wait a second. I can't even add friends correctly in this game. Wait a second. Whispering people is insane. Like, I can't even really whisper people that easily, where every other game has smoothed it out to a point of lack of pain. In this game, it is so obtuse on how to whisper multiple people at the same time. It's there's so many things in this game which are so rudimentary or below rudimentary level that they will absolutely bounce off of it. Pain points where even I was getting frustrated enough that I'm like, all right, I just got to take a break. I'll play more tomorrow. And I'm someone who has spent hundreds of dollars to play this game. I'm someone who has covered this game for easily 100 hours live on stream. I am like way beyond the hardcore audience. I'm like as hardcore as you could possibly get in terms of the audience for this game. Besides being like a sponsored content creator, I am not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But I'll always tell it to you straight. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts. Do you think my worries are founded? Do you think my issues are fair that I'm bringing up? Do you think I'm overstating the audience that will be trying to play this game when it launches on Steam? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe only super hardcore people will play Ashes of Creation. Maybe the updates that Steven Sharif and Intrepid have been cooking in the background, and, they've been making updates. They've been talking about it and covering it with the Harbinger system and everything like that. Maybe there's a low-level version of that that'll actually help, questing at a low level. Maybe they've hired a whole bunch of quest designers that have been working non-stop adding quest after quest after quest in both the Riverlands and the Northern Mountain regions for everything up through level 10. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe all those things are added in the game from, current day playing up until next week. I just genuinely don't see that happening, guys. I just genuinely don't think that level of effort can be put forth for the early game. This is, again, levels 1 through 10. If you make it through level 10 playing this game, and, enjoying the group mobbing and everything like that, which is fun. I really love that kind of gameplay style. But, the other systems that make MMOs worth playing are just not in Ashes yet. And I don't see that changing by the time the Steam release rolls around in a week, less than a week at this point. That's my worry. That's my worry. And because of those reasons, I think that, this is a huge gamble. And I understand why Intrepid is making this gamble. Intrepid is making this gamble, like I said, because they need money. They need more testers. They need more, action in the MMO space. If they hit like certain milestones for people playing the game and so on and so forth, they'll A, get more coverage, and B, get, better loans from the bank in order to fund the game and so on and so forth. These are just very real considerations for an MMO developer. And I fully understand that side of it. But does that mean it's still ready for Steam or access? Or is it just, maybe a little bit of a desperation rush job? And it might end up actually biting Ashes of Creation in the foot a little bit harder than Intrepid expects. I think the latter may happen. I'm worried it'll happen, and that's why I'm making this video. I don't want to see this happen. I want to be in the world where Ashes of Creation launches on Steam and people have as much fun playing the game as I've had for 2 years with even worse systems, with even more broken gameplay, with even more huge issues in the game world. I want that to be something that people, I want them to get the amount of enjoyment I already do. I just don't foresee that. And I'm worried about it, and that's why I'm making this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Are you an Ashes of Creation player? Are you someone who's going to be joining just for the lower price and Steam release? Let me know those, and what kind of content would you like to see? Because I am working on some guides. I've already made a couple of guides for this channel for Ashes of Creation, and I'm happy to make many, many more. I've played every single class extremely thoroughly. I've some more than others, but I played, I played 5 of them extremely heavily, which is a lot more than most. Most people play 1 or 2 or 3 classes at the very most extensively, and then they play the other ones not at all. I've at least tried every single one of them, so I could at least give a rudimentary, like, oh, this is what you're trying to do, this is blah, 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 this is how your stats work, and so on and so forth. So if you'd like to see that kind of content, let me know that in the comments below as well. And, of course, add Cap Corgi TTV in-game, because that is the first character I'll be making. And it'll probably be a fighter. That's my favorite class. So, yeah, I'm a big fighter. I'm a big cleric guy. I've enjoyed tank. I like rogue. I'm a martial class player. I like martial classes. But I'll probably be rolling a mage as well, because mages are absolutely busted. So if you are a mage enjoyer, please know that spellcasters in this game are extremely strong. And mage is easily the strongest class in the game, in my opinion, for DPS. Followed by, the very new one, the Summoner, being absolutely busted in pretty much every single way, and probably the easiest solo class in the game. So definitely, if you guys are brand new to Ashes, consider those 2 things if you're looking for a class to play. But if you want to, bash your head against the wall with a giant 2-handed war axe or something like that, like I do, you can play fighter as well, or, even a fighter-cleric hybrid. There are ways to do that. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed this extremely candid, very open discussion. I hope you guys took it in the way that I meant, with all of my, worries for the game, all of my hopes for the game, and, all of my history with the game. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Much love. Enjoy Ashes. I hope it turns out super well for the early access, but I am worried, and I think I am extremely I'm not usually wrong about these types of things. I really do wish I was, but most of my predictions end up happening, and happening pretty darn well. So that's kind of my issue. But either way, let me know, like I said, your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll definitely catch you guys in the next video, and feel free to catch any of the other content. I will link my playlist in the description below for Ashes of Creation. If you want to see any extra gameplay or any extra guides, or, you know, when they had the fighter showcase or anything like that, you can find all of that in that playlist. It's a lot of content already, and I can't wait to make more for you guys. But it is going to be a very interesting next month for Ashes, and hopefully it turns out well, man. I love this game, so I really do hope it turns out well. Anyways, like I said, see you guys in the next video.